just wanted to read a quote out from the Association of Genetic Nurses and Counsellors, because that sounds like a kind of healthy place to be for the NHS. But they've described themselves, so this is the Association of Genetic Nurses and Counsellors, as extremely concerned that there will not be enough genetic counsellors trained in the UK through the current training routes to meet the growing demands and developments in genomic medicine. And they've also expressed concern at reports that NHS trusts in England and hospitals in the rest of the UK were reducing budgets for continuing professional development for health professionals, including genetic counsellors. So I just wonder if you could just talk us through that.
Okay, yes, I will do. The first thing is, under the Genomics Education Programme, for the very first time, we've actually formalised within the Health Education England education and training system genetic counselling or genomic counselling training. So they now undertake a postgraduate 3-year training programme with an underpinning master's programme that is commissioned alongside commissioned education and training for nurses or for scientists or doctors. So that's been a significant change, and there's a significant further development to develop a higher specialist training programme for them. In terms of answering the specific question around the NHS trusts and their uptake of genomic counselling.
And they're reducing budgets.
Yeah.
And they're reducing budgets. What we know is, at the moment, the NHS Genomic Medicine Centres, so the 13 that have been created, from an NHS England perspective, we're looking at revising the clinical genetics service, and that's where genomic counsellors actually also form part of that, so as a commissioned service. And also we're looking to re-procure our genomic medicine centres, recognising that genomic counsellors will be an important part of that, with sort of a process to get the right numbers of people in the right places. But I think the conversations that we've had with genomic counsellors, with professionals like Bill, has been, going forward, we will need to embed some of those genomic counselling skills in the broader workforce and use our genomic counsellors for very difficult
But is their concern legitimate?
I think their concern is legitimate, but we have to look at it in terms of there's been a formalisation and now there's a process for properly identifying their workforce needs that there wasn't before.
I guess.
And the second is, from an NHS England commissioning of genetic services, and we're re-looking at that, then we will be re-looking at that again.
I guess the concern that's kind of piqued in my mind is that knowing the kind of budgetary problems that many trusts have and face, that this is something in many ways which is dealing with something which is changing and in a way a little bit ahead in the future, and many of the pressing concerns that they have are on acute issues, mental health issues and so on, here and now. And I just wondered, you could quite easily see when you're looking at budgets and which ones to kind of put money in and which ones to take money from, you could see how the genomic side of things could fare quite badly.
Professor Lee, would you want to answer that?
Absolutely. I think that's part of the reflection that we've seen over the last number of years, that you see quite variable levels of service across the country, partly reflecting on those sorts of issues. So some trusts have invested very significantly in genomics and in genomic medicine and staff because they see it as a key element of delivering medicine for the future. And other trusts have not been in that position because they've been dealing with those day-to-day acute issues. And so hopefully this broader overview, I mean, the fact is that there have been postgraduate training programs in genetic counselling for over 30 years in the UK. We led the way in Europe in introducing them, so there's been very good work there. Their role has changed somewhat, and has broadened, and they've become a much more independent professional organisation, which is really a fantastic thing. But I think the concern about the numbers is absolutely right, and I think that a steer to increase those and to recognise the very important role that they play and not just counsellors, but also genetic doctors as well, and the lab staff, that this is a tripartite approach to delivering the care.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Clive.